Today I have a beautiful walnut console table that I thrifted from my local thrift shop for $20, and I cannot wait to share how it all turned out. In today's tutorial, I'm sharing an inexpensive tool that makes veneer repairs super easy, how to get a rich dark finish without using stain, how to add bronze highlights in minutes, and my favorite paint color for a walnut paint wash. Hi, I'm Denise at Salvaged Inspirations. Welcome back to my furniture painting DIY decor channel. Let's get started. Here's the vintage table I found selling for $20 at my local thrift store. This was an awesome price because if you've probably noticed, some of the prices at the thrift stores are extreme, but it's always such a thrill when you come across a gem like this. There were a few issues. The veneer was lifting along the edges on the top of this table. And because this is an older piece, there was some expected wear and tear from this well-loved table. But overall, such a gorgeous shapely piece, and it just needed a refresh because its original beauty is lovely. I brought out my heat gun and removed the blue painter's tape and the price tag. I was half expecting to find something weird under the blue painter's tape because I don't know why it was there, but luckily everything was all good. I gloved up and it was time to start with a good thorough cleaning. Using a dollar store cleaning brush and a large automotive sponge, I sprayed it with my white lightning cleaner, which is a TSP substitute, and gave this table a really good wipe down. As I'm cleaning, I really like to assess what needs to be done with the project at hand. So as I'm giving it a really good cleaning, I'm also giving it another once over. So where there might be some chips or cracks or missing veneer, some places that might need filling with wood fill, it's just a good idea to really give it a good once over. I also made sure to flip the table over and use the brush on those wood carvings as well. I let the table dry overnight and came down the following morning to do the repairs. I started by doing a glue up of all the lifting veneer. I mentioned in the written tutorial over on Salvaged Inspirations that lifting veneer was It was very intimidating to me years ago because it just felt like such a big job. But after doing a ton of these, I can assure you that it is not. And what I've learned over the years is these inexpensive glue syringes make veneer repairs so much easier, faster, and cleaner. And they are very inexpensive. I buy mine online and I believe they're $5 or $6 for a full pack of them. They are one-time use, so they're disposable syringes. And I also suggest with these, use a good wood glue. I like Type Bond and have a putty or like a 9-in-1 putty knife available and some clamps or something heavy to weigh down the veneer after it's glued up. As usual, I'll leave links to all of my supplies that I use in the description box down below. So the steps I take for the glue up are I assess the damage, I fill the glue syringe with wood glue, and then using a putty knife, I lift the loose veneer and squeeze some glue underneath. I press down and move on to the next area to repeat the same process. And because these glue syringes have the longer needle attached, you can get right in there and make sure the glue goes right to the back of that veneer where it needs to be glued down. Once I've added the glue, I press down and then move on to the next area and repeat. It doesn't matter if you use too much glue because you're going to squeeze out the excess and wipe off the excess with, say, a damp cloth or paper towel, whatever you have on hand. Once everything is glued down, you've cleaned up the excess glue. Clamp it down with furniture clamps if you have them. And if you don't, you can always do a DIY makeshift and maybe a large stack of heavy books, maybe some weights, anything that's going to keep that veneer nice and flat as the glue dries. Once the veneer was all fixed up, I went ahead and filled some of the dings with this brown wood filler. And this brown filler is super easy to hand sand. So if you don't own an orbital sander or a palm sander, this is such a great choice for repairs. I left the table to sit overnight, and the following morning I brought it into my sanding room and sanded all the wood filler and repair work smooth. I used a 220 sanding sponge to get around the curves on these legs. And I really like using these sanding sponge for scuff sanding or to remove the wood filler because they just curve right around everything. So it makes it pretty effortless. For the repaired veneer top, I used my orbital sander to scuff sand it. However, the sandpaper that I originally had on there was too high of a grit, so I had to swap it out for a 180 grit. And I also removed the sanding sponge as well. This worked really well on the veneer. And I will mention that when sanding veneer, it's better to go on the side of caution and choose a higher grit sandpaper and then work your way down than the other way around, because once you sand through that veneer or your veneer repairs, well, you just don't want to do that. I've done it and it's not fun. Then you have to change directions on your vision and start priming and painting, and so it's better to start with a higher grit and work your way back. Once everything was sanded smooth and the whole table was scuff sanded, I took my shop vac and vacuumed up the excess dust. And before I brought it back into my paint room, I also used a tack cloth. Someone asked me about my drop cloths. They're not real painter's drop cloths. I actually get these plastic drop sheets from my local dollar store. They're all of $1.50 for a pack. But the good thing is they are large. I think are they 12 by 12 feet? Something like that. So what I do is when I take it out of the package, I actually cut them in half, and then I can even quarter them depending on the size of my project. So one pack will last me at least 4 projects, and sometimes I can reuse them. And I know that may sound thrifty, but you don't have to use things exactly as they come out of the package. And why would I use this huge drop cloth plastic sheet if I can get so many uses out of it? Now for the fun part. Let's give this table a refresh by applying a beautiful dark rich walnut paint wash. And for any of you that have been around Salvaged inspirations for a while, you probably know what color I'm going to use. It's coffee bean. I always have coffee bean chalk mineral paint in my inventory because I use it so often. And applying a paint wash couldn't be easier. If you have a dull looking table, to bring it back to life, this is such an easy and inexpensive way to do it. If you're going to do stain does cost a little bit more money. And the reason why I opted to do the paint wash instead of stain is actually because of our weather. Here in the Greater Toronto area, we are having frigid cold weather. It feels like -20 on most days, and I just don't want to open the windows for ventilation because stain does require good ventilation. So this is a great, inexpensive alternative for me to give this table a beautiful, rich, dark look. It requires very little paint. So I added a little bit of coffee bean into a cup. I added a little bit of water to thin it out. I made sure I had my continuous water mister on hand, and then I add very little paint onto the tips of my brush, and I start applying it to this table. I control how dark or light this wash is by using the continuous water mister. I could just give it a little spray and spread that paint out a little more thinly so the wood grain underneath is showing through. And I continue to do that. To smooth it out, I have a separate brush. a dry, soft brush, and a roll of paper towel. And I just go in while the paint is still wet on this piece of furniture. I just smooth that paint out really nice and softly so you don't see any brush marks whatsoever. This paint wash technique is very, very easy and very forgiving as well. So if you don't like the look of what you just applied, you can wipe it off while it's still wet and just try again. I saved the top till last, and when I started applying the wash onto the top of this veneer, I made sure to work in manageable sections. So I would apply the paint wash, and as you can see, it goes on a little bit heavier. Then I gave it a spray mist with my continuous water sprayer, and then using the very soft brush, I would smooth everything out. Then I would move on to the next section and repeat the same process. And what a difference, right? Just look at the left-hand side of that table and compared to the right-hand side. This paint wash gives it such a rich, beautiful look. And here's a close-up of what it looks like while it's drying. And you can see that the right-hand side is drying. The left-hand side is almost dry. That's how fast a paint wash dries. Now let's add a little glam. And I will say that this bronze gilding wax is perfect if you like your gilding to be a little more subtle, because I love gold, but if that's too in-your-face flashy, try bronze gilding wax. I think you'd love it. So I waited for the paint wash to dry. And then to make these details pop, I took a really inexpensive chip brush. I put a little bit of the gilding wax onto a piece of cardboard. And then in the areas I wanted to highlight, I would add a little bit of the bronzing onto the tips of the paintbrush and just wipe it over all these details. And check this out. It is gorgeous. And I will say that this gilding wax is buildable. So you can start out with the tiniest amount and build it up from there. But this is so easy to do. And seriously, it took me a few minutes. It goes so quickly. The chip brush also worked nicely on the larger details, like the detailing on the curved legs. And for the smaller details, I actually just used my finger. So you could just dip a little bit of the wax onto your finger and use that to apply it to any of the smaller details. And to steady my hand, I like to rest it on part of the piece of furniture, the area that I'm working on, because if your hand is rested against something, you can get a really nice, clean, sharp detail with this waxing. The last tiny detail I did on this table was what actually took me the longest, and it was to darken up the detailing on the two sides. So I originally thought it would look good in bronze, but I opted to go with the dark coffee bean chalk mineral paint. And using a toothpick, I added a little bit of paint onto the tip and inserted it into the grooves and then spread it out with the toothpick. And I know this may sound like a super tiny detail, but I much prefer the grooves darker so it has a more cohesive look. Once again, I let everything dry thoroughly overnight, and the following morning I came down and sprayed 3 coats of gator hide for a durable protection. And gator hide is perfect for high traffic furniture. I know I've mentioned it quite a few times. I did my kitchen table with gator hide, and that was years ago, and it's still going strong. It gets use every single day. It gets cleaned numerous times a day, and it still looks fantastic. This top coat can be sprayed through a sprayer, as I'm doing here, or you can use a sponge or brush to apply it as well. And it self-levels really nicely, and it dries really quickly. So just as a reminder, here's the before. And here's the after. This table was gorgeous to begin with, and now it looks so elegant and refreshed. And I can't wait to hear what you think. I hope you enjoyed today's walnut console table makeover as much as I enjoyed working on it. What a great thrift store find, and what a fabulous upcycle. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. I read each and every one of them. Also, feel free to like and subscribe here on YouTube on my channel. It's free to do. If you hit that notification bell, you'll get notified with every new project we do. And until next time, have a fabulous week. Bye, guys.